Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. This is altcoin era. Let me just get straight to it. Markets are booming right now. It is gone crazy. We just heard that we might get 50 basis points and BTC is up a whopping 5%. Ethereum is up massively, 4%. We have the likes of ADA up 3%. Solana is up 2%. Well, let me just show you the crypto bubbles. You can see right here today, MIX is up. On the hourly, we're up massively. Injective is up 5%. Stacks is up 2.3%. Tau is up 3%. You have Psy with everything is up at the moment in the top 100. On the daily, we're up massively. Tier is up 14%, Stacks is up at 6%, Tau is 13%, Uniswap, XRP, Ordinals, Pepe, Casper, Aave, they're all up massively today. This is the first time that we're about to see an interest rate cut. So this is massive news for BTC. We've broken this major trend line, and my next target, as I said earlier, is at 62,000. The Fed always do this. They release their minions into the markets and they kind of try to get a gauge of what the market wants. Right now they're speculating on 55 basis points. Right now they're speculating on 50 basis points, but they're also speculating on 75 basis points cuts. If I show you the CME watch tool, right now the Fed is slightly behind schedule. So they should initially have made cuts in July. I did say this time and time again in my previous videos that the Fed is late. They need to cut. And it looks like the Fed is about to make a 50 basis point cut. And this is great news for risk assets such as BTC, Ethereum, Solana, AVAX, Dodge, XRP. They're all up today massively. This at the moment has been a very pivotal turning point. So we're going to zoom out and we're going to look at total to right now. We're still in this trend line. What we want to see is a breakout. We want to break out the 50 SMA and then finally break out the 200 SMA. We have from here, from where we are right now to there, we have roughly 11% more to get to 956 billion market cap. Also, likewise, the same for total 3. This is excluding BTC and ETH. And at the moment, we're from here to there, we're 4% away. Let's have a look at the open interest and let's look at the hourly. Let's have a look at the hourly, and as you can see right here, it's gone up. The cumulative volume has increased, spot has also increased, and open interest has also increased, currently at 61,000 US dollars. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Everything has gone up except, surprisingly, open interest. Open interest has gone down on the hourly. Then we have Solana perks, same thing, mimicking the same price action as Ethereum. Let's have a look at the ETF outflows. We only have data from the 16th of September, and BlackRock, no surprises there, have bought BTC. You have FBTC, which is Vitality. They've increased their holdings. HODL has also added to the inflows, and you have EZBC. Let's have a look at the Ethereum ETFs, and we have records dating from the 16th of September, which is yesterday, and Grayscale has surprisingly increased its ETF holdings of Ethereum. Also, no surprises here, BlackRock has increased. There's no inflows from Vitality. Or Van Eyck, Franklin, 21 shares, and Investco. It's no surprise here. The inflows of Ethereum has been not really as positive as I would like to see it, but there is some demand and some appetite for Ethereum ETFs. Let's have a look at Hong Kong. Hong Kong at the moment is going through a drought. They have not bought anything since 11th of September, and then after that on the 2nd of September. So there's not a great amount of inflows happening in Hong Kong or China at the moment. Once we get Hong Kong on board, once we get China on board, and finally, when we get the sick man of Europe, when they get involved, hopefully this is going to be parabolic. Let's have a look at BTC's historical volatility, and let's go to the weekly. Let's go to the 2-week actually. Let me go to the 2-week chart and we'll get a better understanding of what's happening so far. The last time we saw massive volatility was just in August, and it was a month ago when we saw BTC wick all the way to 49,000 US dollars. And then again, we saw massive volatility at the local bottom around 16,000 US dollars. And then we saw massive volatility right over here where we wicked all the way to 20.62, which was a dead cat bounce during 2021. Here is the liquidation heat map, and we have the most liquidations will be at $61,217. So most likely we're probably going to get to 61,000 US dollars. And by then we could see a drawdown later on. Surprisingly, the most amount of liquidations on the downside, if the whales really wanted to push prices, will be at 43,000 US dollars. On the upside, there's not much liquidations. If I go to the 3-month chart, the most amount of liquidations will be at 70,000 US dollars on the upside, and on the downside between 48,000 and 45,000 US dollars. We're about to see a cutting cycle. We might actually see the biggest cutting period of our lives. It might be, it just might be. So there's a few variables. We had the biggest hiking cycle ever. We've had the biggest quantitative easing and cash injection since we got off the gold standard. Just really think about it. Now we're about to cut. Means money is going to be cheaper, which means it's going to be positive for your altcoins. For all of your altcoins, all of them small to medium cap altcoins, it's going to be very bullish. However, there is a caveat. That money takes time for you to see it. It takes time. It's not immediate, the effects. Yes, the market is pricing in 50 basis points, or they're about to price in 50 basis points. I get it. Totally understand. Now we have this individual and a few other individuals like Elizabeth Warren. So the Fed always do this. The Fed is a collective of 12 chairmen. You have Elizabeth Warren, who's a senator. Then you have Nikki Leaks, this gentleman here. The Fed are very good at manipulating markets. If you like it or not, you see it all the time. If you're new to markets, this happens all the time. The Fed will send out certain individuals to walk down the markets. They will always do this. They send out a few individuals just to test the market. The Fed is testing whether they should do 50 basis points. And the market is trying to analyze this and trying to gauge whether this is a good idea or not a good idea. And based on that, the Fed will make their decision. The Fed is going to be data dependent. So on this meeting, they're just going to stand up and they're just going to simply say, we're data dependent. That's all they're going to say. They're going to come up, forget all the noise. They're just going to literally stand there and say, we're going to make a cut of such and such, and we're data dependent. And that's all. Show's over. The market is going to rally upon this news, and once the dust settles, we're going to really find out what direction. Most likely the S&P is going to make a higher high. It's already made a higher high. Then the dust is going to settle, and participants are going to have to make up their mind. Is this bullish or bearish? All of this price action that we see right now, all of this, let me get rid of all the noise. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. And let me get rid of this. All of this, ladies and gentlemen, let me get rid of everything. Participants have already priced in rate cuts. Markets are forward thinking. So they've already priced it in. Look at the bond market. The bond market is already telling us that the markets should have cut. Look, they're at 3.64% on the 10-year. On the 2-year, we're at 3.6%. The bond market has already signaled to the Fed that they should be cutting by now. We should be at around 3.6%, 3.4%. That risk on assets are doing remarkably well so far. DXY has done really well so far. From here to there, it's gone up 30%. Liquidity has gone up from here to there. As of today, gone up 14%. We also have Matic has gone up. This is the news we need for altcoin markets. You have Casper as well. Casper is up from here to there. It's up 5%. We also have Brent is up 6%. We have Zero. We have many different. We have Andy is up as well. BTC dominance surprisingly is up. This is crazy. BTC dominance is up for the day from wick to wick. We're up 0.92%. And I believe the consensus is at 60% to be fair. So we still have 2.74% for BTC dominance to increase. But surprisingly, alts are faring relatively well so far. There is a caveat. There is a caveat, ladies and gentlemen, because if you look at total 2, we're going to be very close to resistance. Very close. I'll show you total 2 and I'll overlay all of this information. We're hitting resistance at 858 billion. What we need to do is pass this area. If we don't, then we're going to head back down. It's pivotal. Right now, we're in major resistance. I understand everyone's really bullish, but we're still in resistance for many of the alts. Many of the alts are still in resistance. They haven't broken out of their ranges. Solana hasn't broken out. ADA hasn't broken out. So this is some of the outperforming altcoins is definitely mint layer. Mint layer has been doing remarkably well right now. So we formed a left shoulder, a head, and then we formed a right shoulder. I did say this earlier. If it breaks that neckline, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading straight to 50 cents, 45 and then 50 cents. There's not much volume here. Now remember, markets go up for one reason only: demand versus supply. If there's less buyers, then what happens to the coin? If there's less sellers, what happens to the coin? We just need more buyers and this thing can shoot up to 50 cents. We could possibly form a higher low and then come back down, but this is definitely positive, and this is my accumulation area. Remember, I've said this so many times. This is a great area to buy. Right over here is the accumulation area. This red line is the SMA, the 50 SMA. It's broken this trend line, formed it as support, and now it's heading to the 200 SMA. The last time we did this, ladies and gentlemen, was all the way over here, which was 2023. And here we saw a massive liquidity increase during that time. So here this could mark a turning point because we're getting interest rate cuts, which is a great sign for risk assets. Risk assets need sufficient rate cuts. Now, I don't know if they only need 50 or they need more, but the more rate cuts that we get, the more better our altcoins will do. Here is the mint layer and BTC pair. And what do you notice right here? We formed a bottom. It looks like we're making higher lows and higher highs, higher lows and higher highs. It looks like mint layer is outperforming BTC at the moment. The last time we done this was in 2023 November, and we outperformed BTC by a whopping 2,518%. So if history is any indication, we could possibly go up 2,100%, where one BTC is worth 0.0003 mint layers. This is the Solana BTC pair. And as you can see here, we're moving sideways. It looks very similar to Ethereum. We're going to have a look at all the pairs. We're going to look at Solana. Then we're going to have a look at Phantom. Let's have a look at Phantom pair. The Phantom BTC pair looks like it's recovering. Let's have a look at ADA. ADA looks like it's formed a triple bottom. So a lot of the pairs are forming a bottoming signal. Binance, let's have a look at Binance pair. Binance is doing remarkably well compared to BTC, and we've just been oscillating around this area. Let's have a look at some of your favorite altcoins. XRP looks like it's bouncing back again. It hasn't formed a new lower low on the BTC pair, which is positive. And this is a great indication to be when altcoins outperform BTC. This is generally a good sign for an altcoin rally. Let's have a look at NEAR, and NEAR is forming another bottoming signal. However, it could come down because at the end of the day, we're still making lower highs after lower highs after lower highs after continued lower highs. So NEAR might actually break its support and head right to this target right over here. The BTC pair for stacks looks like we've broken this trend line, and it looks surprisingly like it wants to get back into this area. Every time we hit this trend line, we normally go to the upper ranges, and again, upper ranges almost hit it. We diverted very far from this trend line. Then again, we hit this trend line, almost went there. You get the picture. We're reclaiming it as support, and then we can head to this trend line right over here. So there is some positive momentum regarding alt. Here is the BTC chart, and this is the weekly, and I'm going to overlay it with the Fed funds rate, and we're going to look into what may or may not happen next. Right over here, we had a moment where we rallied into the rate cuts. Okay, we rallied. What happens after that? We had a slow drawdown. Then we had a pause, and then we had a slight increase. Finally, we had another drawdown. We only have one data point, and this is 2019. Once we see sufficient rate cuts, do we see a moment where BTC breaks out? From July 2019 all the way to, let's just push it all the way here to September 2020 is when we saw a massive parabolic run. BTC might rally into that news, and then we may head down lower. This is the Bitcoin cycle. The blue line is the 2017 cycle right over here. The purple line is the 2021 cycle. And finally, we have the orange line, the yellow line, which is the 2024 cycle. We're still ahead of schedule. All of this green shaded area is going to the right, which is good news. Then we have the purple curves, which is showing a deviation. So we have a deviation here, another deviation here. We have another deviation here, which is the 2024 cycle. And then we have another deviation right over there. We're still ahead of schedule. So what we might need to do is get to this area, and then we can break out 220 days after the halvening. Then we can see a sufficient amount of rate cuts and get a Goldilocks period, get the most ideal period. Then we can break out. We could break out in October, November period. After the election, once all the uncertainty is gone, because markets hate uncertainty. So we might continue to trend sideways. We might continue to oscillate around this area. And once we have some clarity, either Kamala Harris wins the election or Trump wins the election, then, my friends, then will we see BTC break out. BTC has a 4-year cycle. First year is downwards, second year is sideways, third year is the initial breakout of the previous all-time high, and then we have the absolute peak in the fourth year. Again, we have a bear market, then we have a sideways period, and then finally, third year is the breakout. Fourth year is the absolute peak. Likewise, year one again, we have a downturn, bear market, sideways. Year two, year three, we have the initial breakout, and year four, we have the absolute peak. If the theory still stands, then what we should see in Q4 is a breakout of the previous high in 2021. And then in the fourth year is when we find our top signal. However, there is a caveat, and the caveat is this: models eventually, like it or not, get broken. And there is one law called the Goodhart Law theory. And that is, when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. Goodhart's law is when a measure becomes a target and it ceases to be a good measure. It's named after the British economist Goodhart. I'll do a video later on and I'll explain it in more detail. But for now, in layman terms, it means if everyone's looking at this, then eventually it's going to break. Ethereum price targets. Next resistance is right over here at 2,442. Once we break that, then we get to 2,868. On the bearish side, my next target is right here at 2,149, then at 2,000 US dollars. ADA price targets. Right now we're in limbo, so the next resistance is at 37 cents, and then our support is at 30 cents. If we don't hold, then we're going to 25 cents. Solana price targets currently at $132, and we're up slightly 0.68%. Solana is heading down, ladies and gentlemen. It's heading down. Now, I know some of you are some Solana maxis, but it's heading down. And we're going to probably get to my target at $110. And then I won't speak about that. Major support is at 120, then at $110. It is actually a good time to accumulate. And the new narrative apparently now is SU. Everyone's talking about SU. It's the new Solana killer. My next target for SU is at $1.57. The good thing about SU, surprisingly, is broken past its 50-day SMA, and now is broken past its 200-day SMA, which is normally an indication of a bullish signal. We've broken past here, broken past here. Next target is at 158 cents. It's a good time to long, to be fair. If you longed with leverage, if you longed with 10x leverage, you could possibly make 38%, which is definitely good. So imagine that you longed with 10x leverage. 38 times by 10 is 380%. Ordinals is currently at $30 and it's up 1.89%, and it's broken its 50-day SMA. It's heading to, it possibly might head to the 200-day SMA, and at the moment it's consolidating. It's literally kissed the 50-day SMA, which is definitely positive. We need this to hold and then hopefully head up higher. Bobcat is doing incredibly well. We've bounced on this trend line, bounced here again, and now forming this area as resistance at 72 cents. My next possible resistance is at this area right over here. This trend line in the middle of the trend line is the next possible resistance. After that, if it breaks this trend line, then we're going to the top of the channel, and we need to break this area right here. The previous all-time high was at 99 cents. RV has broken past its 50-day SMA and its 200-day SMA. It's currently at $143, and it's up a whopping 2.4%. It's broken past its bear market channel right here, and it looks really positive. Made a new local high, and from the yearly, I believe it's gone up 60%. From the yearly till now, it's gone up 70%. That's really good. That's really good. Tau has broken past my trend line, the yellow brick road, and as of now, kiss the 50 SMA, now heading to the 200 SMA. Ethereum beta plays, not doing vastly good, not doing good at the moment, but Ethereum is definitely getting beaten down, and and Vitalik is posting every day. Every day he's posted, every single day, honestly. Every day he's bull posting about Ethereum. Poor guy. Wow. Even Vitalik is trying to rescue Ethereum. I love Ethereum. I'll be honest. That's my baby. Ethereum's going to do really, really well, regardless. People are calling it AOL. People are calling it Yahoo. People are calling it some crazy things. But Vitalik is the pioneer. Dimension, price targets. VC coins are back. They're back with a vengeance. This is going to be the most hated rally. I promise you that. VC coins are coming back. This is going to be a hated rally. I could possibly see Dementia get to $3.52. Honestly, from here all the way to there, that's a whopping 124%. That's it for now. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification button. If you like this stuff, go check out my other stuff up there. Peace.